Hello and welcome back to another Project Estel video. I'm Claire and today we'll be talking about digital communication. So today we'll be looking at an introduction to communication, a quiz on phone calls, communication through iMessage, another quiz on the iMessage. We'll discuss spam messages and then end the video. So an introduction to cell phones is, well, obviously cell phones have made communication more easily available, but now with advancing technology, you can use your phone at an instant and have a more convenient and easy way to communicate with other people. Now we're going to start with the phone app where you can call or FaceTime your friends and family from. So the phone app looks like a handheld phone on Apple devices, and it's usually green, as you can see there on the left. When you click on it, it opens up to a screen that you might see here at number 2. And we will first look at the bottom where we can see multiple icons that will direct you to different pages that you can see different contacts on. The first icon that we are going to look at is the favorites icon, which is a star at the bottom left. This will take you to a list that is essentially like a shortcut that allows you to pin individuals that you call the most often. So if you have a child or a wife, husband, spouse that you call very often and want to get access to their contact easily, you would add them to your favorites. To do so, you would have to press the plus button, as you can see over here on the left, and pressing the plus will allow you to see your contacts and add whoever you want to your favorites list. The next icon that we are going to look at is the recent icon, which looks like a clock. It is right next to the favorites icon, so it is still at the bottom of the screen. Now the recents icon gives you a list of all of your calls, all your incoming calls. So this could be from your family, friends, maybe telemarketer, but you can filter it. As you can see at the top, it says all and missed. All will give you a list of every single call that you have gotten, including ones that you have answered and ones that you have missed. The way that you can differentiate is the ones that you have answered are going to be colored in white, and the ones that you have missed are going to be red. If you only want to see the calls that you have missed, you can switch at the top here from all to missed, and this will basically filter out all of your missed calls so that you can, or filter all of your calls so that you will see all your missed calls and you can see who you might want to call back. If you do desire to call someone back, you can press their name from this list and it will automatically call them. The third icon that we are going to be looking at is the contacts icon, which sort of looks like a circle with a person on the inside, and this is the third icon at the bottom. The contact icon takes you to the contacts page. Here you can see a list of people that you have the phone number of. You can press their name to find their contact information, essentially their name, their phone number, the ability to text, call, or FaceTime. You can do a lot of things by pressing their name. Similarly, you can also add contacts in the top right with the plus icon that you can see. This will ask you to first put in a phone number and a name so that you can easily know who it is you will be contacting and who it is calling you when they call you. One thing to note is that if someone that you don't want is contacting you, you can go to their contact and scroll down and press block, and this will allow you to block them so that they cannot call you again and you don't have to receive any more messages or calls or FaceTimes from that person again. Now we're going to look at the last two icons, which are the contacts icon and the voicemail icon. Starting with the contacts icon here on the left, which sort of looks like a couple bubbles stacked together. You can use this page to input any number that you wish to call, assuming that you don't already have their contact. So if you meet someone new and they give you their phone number, you can input it here. Something you can do after you input the phone number is create a new contact. So once you finish inputting the phone number, a option right below the number will appear that says create new contact. When you press that, it'll take you to a contacts, an empty blank contact where you can add a name, and it'll automatically put in the phone number that you just inputted. So you can make a new contact from here as well if you don't want to use the plus icon that we saw on the last slide. In addition to this, if you input a phone number of someone that you already have the contact of, you will see their name appear at the bottom just to indicate that you will be calling this person and show that you already have their contact. Now moving on to the voicemail icon, which is right at the bottom, literally to the bottom right. It sort of looks like two circles with a line connecting. This will enable you to see any voicemails or messages that were left behind. So if you miss a call, individuals can still leave you a message, and you can listen to those here just by pressing the number or the name that is listed, and it'll give you a transcript or like a good estimate of what they said from the phone itself, as well as the recording, so you can listen to it or read depending on whatever you prefer. Now we're going to look at the icons that show up when you are actually on call. Now, whenever you select these icons, they switch from a pale gray to a bright white. As you can see with our first icon that we're going to look at, it's the speaker icon. When you press the speaker button, it'll make the call louder, so you don't have to put it up to your ear, and you can actually put your phone down and do other activities while you are still talking to that person. Whenever you press a button, it'll look white like you can see here. When you deselect it, it'll look more gray, as you can see from these other icons. Now the second icon we're going to look at is the FaceTime icon, which will allow you to call someone face to face. The other person would have to answer it before you can actually FaceTime, so you would have to wait for them to answer, and then you can actually see their face. The third button is the mute button, which will essentially mute your side of the phone. Whenever this button is selected, the other person cannot hear you until you have pressed the button again, so that the mute button is no longer active. Now, the fourth button is the add person button. This will take you to your list of contacts, which you can ring another person in order to add them to your call, or in order to call them while you're still in the call. Essentially, when you press this button and you call someone else, it'll put the person you are currently on call with on hold while you ring this new person. Now, if the new person answers, it'll give you a couple options. You can either merge the calls or swap the calls. If you look over here to the left, the merge calls button looks like two arrows coming together. This will allow you to put the two calls together so all of you can hear each other and all of you can talk to each other. If you don't want a group call, you can do a swap call, which is where you can go from one person to another. So as you can see a little bit above the merge calls button, the swap is a swoopy arrow that indicates that you're going from one to the next rather than all of you hearing each other at one time. Now the last button we're going to look at is the keypad button, which is often used when you're on automated service calls, essentially when a robot is talking to you and saying, press 2 if you want Spanish. You would use this icon to find the numbers that you would need to press to select the options you want. Now we're going to look at the icons that show up when you're on FaceTime, which is very similar to normal phone calls, with the only difference being that you can actually see the other person's face. Now there are two icons that are similar to between FaceTime and phones, which are the speaker and the mute button. The mute button will silence your side of the phone so the other person can hear you, and the speakerphone will make the the phone call louder so that you can hear it even without it being up to your ear. The difference between phone and FaceTime is that the speaker will always be on during FaceTime, because if you have the speaker off and the phone up to your ear during a FaceTime, you won't be seeing the person's face and the other person will be seeing your ear. So it wouldn't really be a good viewing experience, essentially. Now we're going to look at the camera button, which you can use to turn on and off your camera if you don't want the person to see you or whatever your background is or anything. You can turn that off. The fourth button is the screen share button, which looks like kind of a TV with a person in the corner. This will allow you to show the other person whatever is on your screen, like your phone screen. So if you want to show them a picture or a cool post that you saw online, you can use the screen share, and you can essentially go through your phone knowing that they will see every move you do until you end the screen share. Now, moving from the top, we can look at the bottom. We see two icons, the star and a camera. The star gives you filters that can change the tone of your camera based on your preferences. And then the camera allows you to flip from the back camera to the front camera. So if you want the person to see your face, you can use the front camera. If you want the person to see your surroundings, you can use the back camera. Now we're going to go into our first quiz on the phone app. True or false? This icon means that you can create contacts or add contacts to your favorites. If you answered true, you would be correct. Which of these indicates that you have missed a call? A or B? If you answered A, you would be correct. Remember that red names or red numbers indicate a missed call. Which page is the one where you are creating a contact? A or B? If you answered B, you would be correct. A is an already existing contact. B is where you can input names or a phone number to make a new contact. True or false? This is the voicemail icon. If you said true, you would be correct. Which of these calls is the icon where you can merge a call? A or B? If you said A, you would be correct. True or false? This is the speaker button. If you said false, you would be correct. This is the mute button that makes sure that the other person on the call cannot hear you. That marks the end of this quiz. Thank you for playing. Now we're going to look at the iMessages app, where you can send messages through text. Now the iMessage app sort of looks like a speech bubble, and it is in a similar green color to the phone app for Apple devices. When you click on it, you will be sent to this interface, as you can see here on the right. It will have all of your contacts, or all of the friends, family, and people that you can talk to. Now in the top right corner is a box with a pencil in it, which basically allows you to create a new thread of messages. As you look to the right, this button allows you to type in any name or phone number of a person that you want to talk to, or can allow you to create a group chat where you can talk to a larger number of people rather than just one-on-one. Now looking at some navigation tips, if you look to the top left corner, you will see the filters button, which will take you to a bunch of different folders. The Messages app will filter your all your messages to all messages, known senders, unknown senders, unread messages, and recently deleted chat logs. So if you want to see a specific message, you can check through these filters. Now, right below the filter is the search button, which allows you to search through photos, links, and documents that were sent to you from other people. And you can also put in names or group chat names to find people or groups of people. Another cool feature on the iMessage app is the pin feature, which is similar to the favorites tab on the phone app, in a sense that it'll give you access to your most frequently talked to people much quicker than you would like the average person. Over here on the left, you can see my pin messages, which are the top 6 bubbles. These are bigger and easier to see, mainly because they are the people I talk to most. Now, if you want to pin someone, you're going to have to go through your contact list. As you can see on number 1, I'm choosing Claudette. Now, you can hold press until you see a screen pop up like you see on number 2, and this will give you the option to pin right at the top of the couple options that it gives you, and then that message contact will appear at the top there. As you can see, the space is now filled with Claudette's name. Now, if you want to see some cool things from individual messages, you can first click a certain contact. Here I'm choosing Amy. Whenever I click Amy, it'll show me our text thread, so all of our messages, as well as her name at the top. If you press that, it'll give you a bunch of different options, as you can see here in the second tab. It shows you contact info, ways to call, and ways to customize the experience, like hiding alerts or sending read receipts, meaning that every time you open a message, she will be able to see that you have already read it and the time you read it. In addition, if you scroll a little lower from this page, it'll show you photos and links that you have sent to each other, just for easy access so that they don't get lost in your text thread. Now we're going to do quiz 2 on the iMessages app. Which of these two is the iMessages app? If you said A, you'd be correct. B is the phone app. True or false? This button allows you to create new message threads or chat logs. If you said true, you would be correct. Which of these indicates a pinned message, A or B? If you said A, you would be correct. B is the normal contacts list. Clicking someone's contact allows you to A, see photos, documents, and links shared between you and that person, B, see the option to call or FaceTime them, or C, all of the above. If you said C, you would be correct. True or false? You can use the search bar at the top of the iMessages app to search and find a chat message with a person. If you said true, you would be correct. Now that is the end of quiz 2. Thank you for playing. The final topic that we're going to be looking at today are spam messages and the dangers that come with easy communication. Now, what exactly is spam? Spam is any unwanted calls or messages designed to advertise, attempt phishing, which is stealing personal information like passwords, spreading malware, and fraud. Now, there are some key warning signs to fraud or spam messages. One of them being that they claim to be a friend or a relative in need of money, but when they ask for this money, they don't give you any time to think or to ask other people to verify if it is actually them or if they actually do need this money. Another is that they request payment by means other than credit card, including cash, gift cards, or wire transfers, or a private courier. So this should be an indication that it may not be real and they're actually just trying to scam you. A third one is that they claim you have a virus on your computer and they request to log into your computer, or they ask for your password to quote-unquote help you get the virus out. It would be better to go to a more professional rather than someone who just called you. The fourth one is that they claim that you have been specially selected for a limited time offer. Now, these are like high pressure sales that make you feel like you should do it right away, but in actuality you should think about it more and recognize that it may be too good to be true. Now, there are some key ways to protect yourself. One being that you should avoid unknown numbers and set up a voicemail so that you can see what they are going to say before they have any time to trick you. Another being that you can silence unknown callers, which is something you can do on iPhone through the Settings app. And then the third one is to find reliable spam blocker apps on the App Store. Many of these can filter out your phone calls and ensure that any dangerous numbers or that are known won't be able to contact you. As time has progressed, a new danger has appeared with technology, that being AI and digital communication. There are many people who are using AI to mimic other people's voices to prank or even play horrifying tricks on certain people. They can be used as a joke or even used to scam people. One example could be taking a family member's voice and using it to beg you for money, which is a warning sign that we talked about before, and they can essentially use that trust you have for that person to scam you into giving them money. It is extremely dangerous and unethical, and it can imitate anybody's voice. An example app that can be used by basically anyone is iMyFone VoiceBox, which is voice phishing, but this is mostly commonly used in media to mimic celebrity voices. Now, what should you do if you are scammed by these AI voices or any scammer in general? One thing that you should do automatically is contact your mobile carrier to ensure that the hacker didn't take your phone number and that they can help you regain it if they did take your phone number. Another thing you can do is secure any online accounts, especially bank accounts, by changing the password to make them stronger, as well as changing your security answers or questions. Another thing you can do is call your bank to check for any unauthorized charges. If there are, you can report it to the bank and they will freeze your card until the problem is resolved. And then a final thing that you can do is to spread the word. Tell your family and your friends that you have been hacked, and this will ensure that they will avoid a similar instance occurring to them. Now that marks the end of today's Project Esto video. I hope you learned something new, and thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like, a comment, and to subscribe just so that you're notified anytime we upload again.